Everyone, today we're going to be talking about safety issues. The first one that we are going to talk about is chemical safety. So the first thing that I want to point out is where the eye wash stations are and the chemical shower. So here is the chemical shower. So notice that there is a sign on how to use it and the eye wash station below it. There is a handle that you will pull in order to activate the shower. Please do not do this in class unless it is absolutely necessary, because it will go out all over the floor and we don't have a drain. So it'll just flood the entire floor and go outside. So if it's a chemical, it will be diluted and we will have a response team clean it up. Here is the eye wash station. And when a person needs the eye wash station, if you flip this handle away from you towards the wall, that is how these jets are activated. Again, I'm not going to do this because it will drain out onto the floor. Okay, so we are not going to do that unless absolutely necessary. And when you have someone who needs the eye wash station, they need to have any contacts removed from their eyes, and the person's face needs to be entirely immersed in water. So that means all throughout the jets, the eyes need to be completely submerged and open in order for the chemical to be flushed out. If the person is needing the shower, the individuals that are helping them will need to, depending on the coverage of the chemical, the person will need to strip down, possibly to naked, in order to make sure that they are not being burned by acid, whatever the case may be. So in that case, many people will be helping them, including providing some type of coverage such as a lab coat. We would get them a new lab coat so that they would not be cold and naked throughout the time here on campus. Speaking of which, I just want to point out here, this is where we put our dirty lab coats. You don't ever put your normal coat up here. This is a separation between clean and dirty. These are all dirty, but we have them separated for the vent below. Okay, so that's the chemical shower and one of the eye washes. Now, if we go into the prep room, we go straight into the prep room. All this stuff will be moved. But here is the other eye wash station. Okay, it is directly on the faucet. See the red caps here? And in our simulation of a chemical spill, someone leads the victim to the eye wash station back here, because this one we can actually use and test without getting the entire classroom messy. So in order for this to work, you always turn on cold. Do not ever use hot water, okay? And I'm going to do it at a low flow so that we don't get really submerged here. But you pull out, you're going to pull out this little button in the middle. And of course, if you turn this all the way on, yes, the jets will come up closer and you will shove the person's eyes in there so that they are completely submerged. Again, glasses need to be off, contact lenses need to be out of eyes, and the person's eyes need to be open when put into the water flow. Okay, usually we have the students do this to me. This year we have COVID-19 and we have restrictions to that, so we're watching this video, and that ends up getting mainly into the sink, but it does get kind of kind of wet otherwise. All right, so once this is done, you can place these back on here. In an extreme emergency, they might actually pop off with the ejection of water. but then they're lost down there and you have to clean them. So if it's possible, somebody can come and pull these off before the person who needs the eye wash gets here. So let's talk about the other part of the chemical response. There is a chemical cabinet here. It is a flammability cabinet, but we put all of our chemicals in here that have some kind of safety hazard. We have our information sheets here on every single chemical that we have. We have a chart here with the chemicals that we have and the level of NFPA rating. So health, flammability, reactivity. So we've got all of that here. Okay. And so if we were to have an issue, we would come and get the, they now are called SDS, safety data sheets. Before they were called material safety data sheets. So you would pull this out and you would, oh my goodness, I can't do this one-handed. This one's very heavy. So I'm gonna pull this out off camera and then get back to you. So here we have the binder open and we have a copy of what the NFPA symbol means and where each of those hazard ratings are, okay, and what each level means and denotes the level of hazard. Okay, so if we were going through and we were trying to figure out what a chemical hazard was, we could go in the front, look at the list of chemicals that we have here, and then we could find the rating of that hazard. We could then also go and look through the binder and find out what the appropriate protocol is. So for this one is the artificial urine that we have seen in some other videos. Okay, and the first aid measures are below, and it talks about up here. It talks about ingestion, inhalation, eye contact, and skin contact. So then it provides you information on what you would do depending on what happened to the person. So did the person inhale it? Did it get splashed in his or her eyes? Did it get all over them? And these are the procedures that you would follow. Okay, there are other sections on here too that talk about the chemicals within the contents of whatever chemical it is that you're using. And that is it for that one, and it continues to go on. Also in our classroom, we have at the front hazmat warning labels. This is a poster that we have up, and it talks about the different levels of the categories on the NFPA sign as well. Okay. If there is a spill of a chemical, we have two locations for our spill kit. Behind the demonstration bench, where there are four chalkboards. They rise up and there's storage behind it. And if you look, you have the chemical spill kit here. And depending on what the SDS says that you need, you would follow the procedure using one of these contents in order to inactivate, stabilize, or soak up the chemical that has been spilled. Then we have the dustpan with the brush that you can sweep it up and put it into a bag in order to dispose of it. This chemical kit is also located in our prep room right next to the cabinet that we have our chemicals in. It is at the bottom here, underneath the last shelf, okay? So same exact contents, except the only place that we have the brush and the dustpan are behind the chalkboards out there. We'll do one look into chemical cabinet here. We have different reagents that we use, and they are labeled with their hazard on there and the NFPA. There is also the lot number and the expiration date, and obviously you would also want to have what the chemical is on there and the manufacturer information. So we could look that up in the SDS if we needed to. We also have two phones. We have a phone here right inside the door of the prep room. This one does not go outside of, no, I apologize. This one does go outside of the college, whereas the one that is up at the front where the professor is does not leave the college. Okay, so depending on what you're calling about and who you're calling, you may not have the correct phone. We have one more phone that we can use. It is outside of our lab. We have our safety information posted on waste management. But right here is our other phone. It does have our emergency information on what to dial and for what reasons. There are more information here, and this is our evacuation plan. So we will show you that in another video as well. But those are your phones, and those are the chemical safety places